So one day I was on the internet, big surprise. And as I was perusing around, I happened to find an interesting article pertaining to landfills. Now, I myself am I'm not too interested in garbage, but I do have an interest in STEM, environmental issues, and the world which surrounds us. So I clicked on. And what I discovered was the true scope of the dire tire situation which our world now faces. In landfills all across the world, there are literal mountains of old, used car tires. It's also around this time that a family member had called and mentioned that their asthma had actually gotten worse as a result of an insulation change. Now I thought, how could an insulation change make asthma worse? So I did some research on fiberglass insulations, and I actually found that they have a plethora of serious health risks. Now you may be wondering, why am I telling you these two stories? It seems almost as if they have no correlation, and surely they wouldn't have a similar solution. Wrong. I introduce to you Parth, Natalie, Dylan, and me, David. We are the team behind ReTire. Okay, so Dylan's going to take us over to the website so we can go a little bit more in depth about our company. Dylan. Okay, so a little bit about us. Who are we? Well, we are a student-run organization focusing on creating a more sustainable and healthy planet. And we plan to do so by reusing products that would otherwise be thrown out or discarded. Now, we're all about creating quality-oriented, affordable, and environmentally friendly housing insulation using old car tires, and we're built on the three principles of prestige, sophistication, and most importantly, reliability. Now, many people continue to overlook the versatility of tires, but we hope to break that stigma and make people realize that it's not only the product, but the incentive to make a step towards a better and healthier future.
Okay, so why would we use tires in the first place? Tires take up acres and acres of space in landfills, and they take about 50 to 80 years to decompose by themselves. With the changing seasons, car users, especially in Canada, they tend to replace their tires every spring and winter. And with over 34.3 million cars registered in Canada, imagine the number of tires that get thrown into landfills every single year. Many people tend to overlook the versatility of tires because of their stigma around them, but we figured out that rubber is actually a really excellent insulator, and then we found out that because of this effective insulation, it could be used for house insulation because of its ability to retain heat.
So, what's our solution to this? Well, ReTire insulation is not only a superior product to that of fiberglass, but it's also made from recycled rubber, as we've said, and it's environmentally sound. Not only that, but it's also safer for workers and for homeowners, as it doesn't pose the same risks that fiberglass does as well. The ReTire mission is to create quality, affordable, safe, and environmentally aware insulation. Now, this idea stemmed from the overabundance of car tires in dumps all over the world, and our company started with just 4 like-minded individuals who wanted to improve the health and safety of our planet and an idea on how to do so.
Okay, now here are the numbers. We as a group, we compiled a bunch of surveys that we've shared to our friends and family, and out of 65 recipients, 75% of the people, they said that they didn't know that there's so many tires in landfills. This is really a point up for us because now we are recognized as one of the leading influencers in one of these industries because we're the ones recognizing this problem and doing something about it. We also figured out that 70.2% of all of our survey takers said that they would be willing to replace or implement an ecologically friendly alternative to their house insulation. And this means that even other people, they recognize that they want to take a step into a better future with a healthier and more sustainable environment. And this is a visual demonstration of our development and design process. Our product will be sold in sheets, and we separated our development process into 4 steps. So first we would get our tires from local landfills or local car dealerships because they would actually pay us to take them off their hands because they didn't have to pay for transportation. And then for our step 2, we would take these tires, we would cut them up and then we would put them into a cryogenic grinding system in order to grind it down into a fine powder, and then we could take out any metals or any impurities within the tires. And then as a final step, we would put it into a mold along with other materials that would make it much more sturdy and more reliable as an insulator.
All right, so now that my team is done talking about not only the product, but the process that we're going to go through, I want to take a little bit of an insight into the insulation market. So as of now, the insulation industry is currently valued at a little over 52 billion USD, and this number is growing every single day. So now, with our main competitor being fiberglass insulation, being introduced in the late 1930s, we believe that our new, innovative, and ecologically friendly product can not only capitalize off this market as much as possible, but we can also take many of their customer base. So now that you guys know how crazy the market really is, we have to ask ourselves two fundamental questions. Who are our customers, and how are we going to get our product to them? So essentially, we as a company pride ourselves for being not only straightforward, but also pride ourselves on having our marketing strategy based on educating our customers, which are new homeowners, and we are also targeting new communities that are being built on the outskirts of different communities. So now here at ReTire, we have two main channels of distribution. Our first being getting our product to large hardware stores such as Lowe's and Canadian Tire, and our second, more favorable option, is being getting our product to pre-existing installation companies and homeowner companies that will get our product to our customers extremely efficiently.
Okay, but really, why would you choose our product over regular fiberglass insulation? Well, this brings us back to those health issues. In fact, we found that regular fiberglass has comparable health hazards to that of asbestos, and upon contact with skin causes irritation. If it gets in your eyes, it can cause serious eye injuries. When inhaled, not only that, it could also increase the effects of asthma, bronchitis, as well as cause nosebleeds, coughing, and lung damage.
Judges?
My first question would be, so you look at the costing, I think this is a great presentation, great problem to solve. Would love to see you solve this. Would love to see you guys become world famous for solving this problem. Have you looked into the actual difficulty of turning a tire into small cubes?
Yes.
How
Okay.
expensive and difficult that is?
Okay, so we figured out that it would actually be more cost effective for us to get like an industrial grinder to like grind down the tires into like these small pieces, and then from there we can use our cryogenic grinding system, which uses liquid nitrogen, and then we would grind that into a powder to make it more brittle. Yeah.
It makes it much more brittle and easier to process, not to mention that liquid nitrogen is actually very inexpensive.
Actually, so you freeze the rubber and then grind the rubber.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a
Have
system.
have you done any research to find out if anyone's done that before?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty common process, and they sell cryogenic grinders, and a lot of companies do actually use them.
Fascinating, didn't know. Good answer.
Really great product, guys. I mean,
thanks so much.
it's clear that you guys have thought about it and done your research, so congratulations on that. I guess I'd be interested in hearing about, your, like, what is proprietary with you guys? Is there any patentable technology or process in this product?
The process itself actually isn't all too unique. However, there's definitely been little to no thought into, really repurposing rubber into something more useful. As we've said, they're strewn across the countryside, et cetera, and we really just want to really chip away at that mountain and make it better for ourselves, or for all our customers and workers.
Great.
And what was the inspiration behind this? Why did you guys decide that this was a problem you wanted to solve?
As I mentioned before in the introduction, I really discovered, the true scope of all of the tires, in landfills all across the world, et cetera. And not only that, a family friend of ours, actually, their asthma got worse because they had an insulation change because they moved. So we decided to draw inspiration from that and really combine the two ideas into one cohesive product. Because not only do we want to create it's not so much a downgrade as so many products that are safe for the environment are. It's actually an upgrade because our product is waterproof, lasts twice as long as regular fiberglass insulation. And not only that, we've also made it fire resistant by adding the silicone and a little bit of boron, etc. So it's actually safer than regular fiberglass, and it doesn't have those, health health risks.
And then, as an addition, it's also quite a bit cheaper because regular fiberglass insulation, it's around $2.30 for a square foot, rather, but for ours, it's $1.74.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With the same R value?
Yeah.
Yeah. So upon buying all of our capital, the return from that would substantially keep us going because we make a very wide margin of profit.
Okay.
What's your exact next step? What are you doing next?
Our next step, we've actually already contacted a lot of eco and regular home building companies, such as EG Homes, and what they said was, EQ Homes, sorry, and they've actually expressed interest in our product as well as investing in the future.
Yeah.
They just want like maybe a prototype or some kind of presentation like this essentially. So just so they know more about the product and then they're just going to be really ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've talked to quite a few small businesses. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also saves a lot of costs and CSR because once again, it is better for our workers and for our homeowners.
Good. Thank you.